All right, now we've got our definition of function down. Let's use it to get some good old number answers. So our function notation I have written right here. Instead of just saying y equals mx plus b, now we're going to have f of x. F of x just tells me the equation I'm dealing with is a function. Anytime I see that, I know it's already a function. I don't even have to think about it. So it's that function of x, where x is our input, our independent variable, and y is our output, or our dependent variable. So x is going to be that thing right there inside the parentheses. So if you look in this notation, x is 5, the thing in the parentheses. So I'm going to plug 5 everywhere I see x. And then you can do this in your head. You can think about it kind of breaking it steps, or you can type in your calculator. I'm just going to type in what I have highlighted there in green on the right hand side of the calculator, because f of 5 is the notation for my answer. We're not going to divide by 5 or anything like that. Remember, that's just y. So f of x, just my answer is, and 2 times 5 minus 7 is 3. So f of 5 is equal to 3. You also can think about this in terms of an ordered pair. F of x, so x is 5 in this case, like I wrote up above. So x is 5, y is 3. So it's just that 0.53. All right, I've got 2 down here for you guys to try. Just be careful of the negative. Anytime you see a negative, you want to keep it inside parentheses. That's really important for your calculator to understand what you mean by that negative. So make sure and keep those negatives inside parentheses. So go ahead and hit pause and try this example 4 down here below. All right, hopefully you're back from the pause and you gave it a shot. Remember, I said to keep that negative in the parentheses. So every time I saw -2, I wrote it in parentheses. You could type that whole thing in your calculator all at once, or you can break it into steps. Either way, your final answer, f of -2, is equal to 26. On the other side, I'm going to plug in 4. Everywhere I see the x, and so f of 4 is going to give me the answer of 20. We're going to take the same concept and apply it to what's called a piecewise function. Piecewises look way crazier than they actually are. It's just pieces of different lines put together. So in here we have 3 different lines. We've got our top line, our middle line, and our bottom line. So it's just like kind of if you took graphs and you cut off some of them and then put them together, like a Frankenstein monster. The left side from one, the middle of another, and the right side from another guy. So it might not look like a straight line would look. We might have something that looks like this. So it's kind of all pieced together. Now, we don't have to graph them. We just have to worry about this function notation. Now, if you look, we've got these inequalities over here. The inequalities help me choose which line to use. Should I use the top one, the middle one, or the bottom one? That's what those inequalities are there. So for this top one, I'm going to use it anytime I have a number that's 1 or less. For the middle one, I would use it anytime I have a number between 1 and 5. And for this bottom one, I would use it anytime I've got a number 5 or larger. All right, so let's try some of these. F of -2. Well, -2 is less than 1, so I'm going to use that top line. So I'm going to use -2x plus 4. And I'm going to plug -2 in. And that's going to give me my answer of 8. For B, 7 is larger than 5, or more than 5. So that means I'm going to use the bottom line. So I'm going to 7 plus, let me write out that bottom line first before I plug it in. So that means I'm going to be using x plus 2. That would give me 7 plus 2, or 9 for my answer. So these piecewise, they look scary, but they're really not anything tricky to them whatsoever. C, might be the hardest one. It's actually so easy that it's hard. 4 is in between 1 and 5. So it's going to be that middle one. And so that one just says 3. There's not even an X anywhere. So I can't even plug in 4. My answer is just 3. There's not any work to do because there's no X there. So that one you can honestly overthink. So don't overthink that one. All right, I've got another one of these for you guys to try down here on example 6. This one does have some words with it. It's a word problem. But what I want you guys to practice is just plugging in this 35,000. So I want you to practice that. We'll worry about the interpret your answer after you guys try to get the number answer, the number part for the answer. So go ahead and hit pause and try to plug in 35,000 to get the correct answer. All right, coming back from the pause, 35,000 is bigger than 10,000. So I'm going to be using this last line. So I'd get 350 plus 0.05. I'm going to plug in 35,000 minus 10,000. You can type that all in at one time. This one's a little nasty, so I'll break it into one little step here if you want to, or you can type it in at once. But this should give us the answer of 1,600. I'm going to put my units there because they are dollars. If you just had 1,600, that's fine. It does ask us to interpret our answer. So that means I'm going to write a sentence that uses this 1,600 and this 35,000 in it. So I'm going to write a sentence that has both of those numbers in there. Looking up here, this is the state income tax. And X, that's the thing that I plugged in, is the person's taxable income. And Y is going to tell us what the income tax was. So a person who made $35,000 owed $1,600 in state income tax. So that would be my interpret the answer there. That sentence that uses both numbers, the number I was given to plug in and the number in my answer.